types of decay. With your preservation, food preservation, you are battling against 3 types of decay. You've got yeast, fungi, and bacteria. Now, some of these are dangerous and some of these are not, and we're going to look at what they need to live and how we can prevent them. So let's start with yeast. Yeast is something, it needs to have it needs a wet environment. It likes to have something sweet to eat or a carbohydrate. So it definitely needs a carbohydrate or sugars to feed on. And it can make food delicious, like beer or sourdough bread, but it can also make food taste really disgusting. And so what we want to do is create environments that prevent the growth of yeast. And number one is just to, like, heat will kill yeast. So that's where our pressure canning and our water bath canning kills any yeast that might be trapped in there and prevents it from growing. We can also use different things like salt and sugar and so different and temperature as well to prevent yeast from growing. And so you'll find yeast will, so for example, you could find yeast growing in, say, like a freezer jam, a low sugar freezer jam. So I often make a low sugar freezer jam, and it needs to be eaten fairly quickly, like within a month. If it's sitting in the fridge for any longer, or certainly if it's sitting on the counter, it will it'll start to ferment and it'll start to get a yeasty flavor. And it's not going to kill you, but doesn't taste very good. Now, so the takeaway here is that yeast needs a wet environment and it needs lots of sugars or carbohydrates to eat. The best thing about yeast, though, is that it will not kill you. It just tastes gross, and yeast can be used to make delicious food, or it can make your food taste yucky, but it will not kill you, all right? The next on the list is fungi, otherwise known as mold. And mold, like yeast, it's found everywhere, and it's found in the air, and it just needs a perfect environment to start to grow. And it needs something to live off of, so a protein or carbohydrate, and it needs dampness. Not as much, it doesn't need as much wetness as yeast. Yeast will grow in the liquid, in the high water content, whereas the mold is more of a surface growing type of thing. And so it just needs a bit of dampness, and it prefers like low air circulation, because if there's air circulation, that dampness will dry out quite quickly and it won't be able to grow. So we want dampness, low air circulation, and just something for it to grow on top of. And of course, we've all seen mold in our life. It's pretty gross. And but the takeaway here is that mold will not kill you. And that's a good thing to know. Some people think that we should eat more mold in our life, but I prefer not to eat mold. So again, with mold, there's all sorts of techniques to prevent mold. Reducing water content, heat will kill mold. So as we get into our methods, we're going to be able to look at all the different ways that we can prevent mold from growing on the food that we preserve. The third form of